Hey gang, it's JC and this is your Daily Dose for Thursday, June 17th, 2010. A cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. This is going to be a war of wills today because Max, the dog who lives next door, has decided to bark. My guess is he's going to bark straight through for about 10 minutes. Then we got Nala across the street, and she gets very upset sometimes when I come out onto the property of my own house. So we'll just see how this goes here today. You can subscribe to the audio of the Daily Dose by punching that little iTunes icon right there on our main screen. Archives anytime. There's the menu bar up there, and we update things all the time. And the update on me is that there is no update. The radio station continues to pay me the remaining 15 months on my contract. We're off the air, but we're here with the Daily Dose every day at jc'ontheline.com, where we're happy to report that Dave Murray's weather forecast is now a part of jc'ontheline.com. And there's Dave right over there. All right, way to go, Dave. All right, you want to feel old? It was on this date in 1994. That was 16 years ago that the OJ low-speed car chase took off down the California highways there. It spawned two very, very good jokes at the time. Number one was, what did OJ and Denver's football team have in common? The answer, they each had a slow white Bronco. John Elway reference, pretty funny. My favorite, though, this is a true story. Car dealer in Southern California, Ford dealership, and they took a white Ford Bronco and put it up on risers in front of the dealership right out by the street and had a banner over the top of it that said, "As seen on TV." Pretty good, pretty good. All right, there's a woman in Michigan, and she's out walking her dog one day. It's a big German Shepherd, and the dog like goes crazy, sees another dog, and just like yanks her and like tears her shoulder apart. She has no health insurance. She goes everywhere. She's tried everything. Nobody will treat her because she has no health insurance. So she does the only thing left to do. She shoots herself in her own shoulder and then goes to the emergency room figuring, okay, my shoulder's ruined. Now they gotta fix it. Plus they'll fix the gunshot wound. Only one problem, the bullet went through and didn't really damage anything important. So they basically bandaged it up, put some disinfectant or whatever they put on it. Some Windex, and they sent her on her merry way, and now she may be facing criminal charges. The American Idol Tour is having trouble selling tickets. They are downsizing in some cities, moving from arenas to smaller theaters. Speaking of smaller, there is apparently not going to be a funeral now for Gary Coleman. No funeral for Gary Coleman. I hear now they may just flush him down the toilet. This month marks the 30th anniversary of the release of the Blues Brothers movie, and the Vatican and their official newspaper is calling it a Catholic classic. And they say they should be people should be recommending that movie to other Catholics if you're Catholic. You might remember that the band got back together to raise money to save the Catholic orphanage that the Blues Brothers grew up in. Was there ever a day in history where 600,000 HD radios were sold? Was there ever a day in history where 600,000 satellite radios were sold? Answer to both questions, no. However, 2 days ago, even with a crappy carrier like AT&T, they sold 600,000 iPhone 4s. This is telling you a couple of things. Number one, where the business is going, and number two, really how screwed radio is these days. All right, we have a couple of random stories today. Now, obviously, if you're in business, the whole thing is trying to create foot traffic, or if you're the sort of business where people call up for your goods or services, that's what you're trying to do. Get as many people to call up as possible. Well, it turns out that companies spend about 94% of their marketing budgets to do just that, to get people to call up. However, 70% of those people are put on hold. And most people don't like it. As a matter of fact, 34% of people who get frustrated on hold hang up and never, ever call that business again. 45% of people tried to buy something in the last year, was over the phone. 70% of them placed on hold. Average caller's time on hold, 57 seconds. All right, the New York Times says there's a new industry out there, and it is the manscaping industry. 47% of men groom their body hair, and most of them start exactly where you would think, in the Family Jewels area. And by the way, if you're talking about the 18 to 29 male age group, that number jumps to 61%. They start with the groin, go to the armpits, then to the chest. The body shaver market also hit an all-time high last year of $10 million. And Nair for men is selling at a clip of $4.5 million a year. On Sunday, Jack Singer of Warwick, New York, turned 10 years old, and he celebrated the way any average 10-year-old kid would by trying to set the Guinness Book World Record for wearing the most pairs of underwear. Jack put on 215 pairs, which beat the old record of 200, and it get a little dicey around 195 because Jack started feeling he lost all the feeling in his feet. And his very, very responsible parents laid him down and they helped him put on the last 20 pairs. The previous record, by the way, was set about 15 years ago by a boy who was a little nervous about sleeping over at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. 200 pairs of... All right, you got a dog? Do you know you're probably ruining your own dog by doing these 4 things? Here they are. Yelling at your dog for barking. Now, it doesn't work. Anybody who's ever tried it knows it doesn't work. And it might even make them bark more, because if they think in a way that you're barking too, that gets them all excited and they start barking more. You're better off reprimanding the dog, ignoring it, or distracting him with a toy or something like that. It's a little buggy out here today because of all the rain. And by the way, it's very dark. You know, we had this terrible rain this morning. I'll bet you by the time you're watching this, the sun is out and it's 90 degrees. All right, number 2 on ruining your dog. Comforting your dog when he's scared. Well, if your dog freaks out at thunderstorms, stuff like that, or the vacuum, you should ignore it, because comforting a dog tells the dog there's something to be scared about, so don't do it. Number 3, according to the FDA, you give your dog bones, and it can break the dog's teeth. The splinters can get in their digestive system and make them very sick or kill them. And rawhide sticks are okay, but you shouldn't be giving your dog bones. Number 4, yelling at your dog for chewing up your shoes. You basically have 1 second when a dog is doing something wrong to get the dog to make the association between what it's doing, something wrong, and some sort of disciplinary action. Dogs have incredibly short memories, so unless you catch them really in the act of doing something, it doesn't work. And the worst thing you can do is like get home and the dog has chewed up a pair of shoes 6 hours ago, and you drag the dog over by the lip, like that, and you see what you did? It does absolutely no good at all. The dog just gets freakier on you. All right, here are the top 10 things that women are bored about the most. And it turns out, according to a new survey, women are basically bored with their entire lives. Here's the top 10. Number 10, responsibilities. Number 9, the house. Eating the same things all the time. Depressing news. Spending time on their appearance at number 6. Number 5, housework. Number 4, not enough vacation time. Number 3, the job. Number 2, lack of a social life. And number 1, routine. Routine. In other words, women are upset and bored with life. This is life we're talking about. All right, here are the top 10 things that women, those bored women, wish they were doing instead of the list that I just gave you. Here's the top 10. Here's what they wish they were doing. Number 10, singing in public. What? All right, number 9, getting a boob job. Who's stopping you? Number 8, going back to school. Oh yeah, that's what you want to do, is send your wife back to school where a bunch of 19-year-old buffed out boys are going to be firing on your wife. Great idea. Number 7, trying something new in bed. Who's stopping you? Number 6, putting the house up for sale and buying a new one. Number 5, getting a dramatic haircut. Yeah, every time Karen Foss, when she was on Channel 5, every time she'd get a new hairstyle, she'd end up getting a new divorce. Number 4, quitting their job without having another one lined up. Number 3, telling people what you really think. Number 2, moving to another country. And I know some husbands that wouldn't mind that, especially if it's a one-way ticket. And number 1, going to an airport and getting on the next random flight to anywhere. You're all nuts. All right, JC's Eye Candy today. Some Danish band released a music video that shows nothing but 2 shirtless women making out for 4 minutes straight. We have it for you. Don't forget JC's Video Village and the Wayback Machine, and not necessarily the news. Tomorrow, wine and 7-Eleven, and also the 10 most popular fast food restaurants. I was real surprised by which one was number 1. All right, that's JC's Daily Dose for Thursday. No, it's not. Wednesday. Whatever day it was, I have forgotten. We'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.